Hi, third graders. It's Miss Amanda from the Caroline County Public Library, and I'm here to share with you today some chapters from this book, Horrible Harry and the Field Day Revenge by Suzy Kline, and it has pictures by Amy Wummer. You have received this book in your box of supplies, so you can read along if you want. You can just listen. You can check it out later on your own. But I'm very excited to share it with you. And this is called Horrible Harry, and it looks like that must be Horrible Harry. If you open this book, you can see a very long list of Horrible Harry books. There's a bunch right there. And then there's a big list. So if you like this book, there are lots more Horrible Harry books. And this is about Field Day. And Field Day is a very fun day at South School, one of the most fun days of the school year, and you might remember your own schools having Field Day, and right now you're doing the Olympics theme, so I thought this book would be a good match. We'll read the first few chapters, and this, you can tell if you look at the cover, this is a silly book. It has a lot of funny things that happen. And I think Horrible Harry might get the idea to cheat at Field Day to win the prize. So that's not good, is it? Let's see what happens in the first chapter. Horrible Harry and the Field Day Revenge by Suzy Kline. The first chapter is called, mysteriously, The Box. Field Day is supposed to be fun. You get to play all kinds of games outdoors and cheer for your team. But this year, in third grade, Field Day turned into a war of trouble and revenge. It all started yesterday morning with a box, a big brown box. I wonder what's inside. Our teacher, Mrs. Flaubert, who used to be Miss Mackle before she got married, dropped us off for gym class. "Please go to your spots," she said, "and wait for Mr. Deltoid." Spots are colored places on our gym floor about the size of a frisbee. And there's all the kids in the gym on their spots. Looks like that might be Horrible Harry. We each have one. My friend Harry, who likes to do crazy, horrible things, raced down the ramp as usual to his yellow spot. He jumped high in the air like he was dunking a basket. Ida leaped and twirled around Harry until she did a final pirouette on her space. That must be Ida. Mary placed her feet on her red spot perfectly so both sneakers fit inside. There's Mary. Every kid has a different personality, don't they? As soon as Song Lee and Sydney got to their spots, Mary glanced at the wall clock. "Hey, Doug," she said. "Looks like Mr. Deltoid is late again. I bet he's getting coffee in the cafeteria." "And a cookie," I added. "It's that time of morning when Mrs. Funderburk is baking. Can you smell chocolate?" "Yes," Mary said, taking a deep whiff. "Chocolate chip cookies are on the lunch menu." When Mary giggled, I did too. Mrs. Flaubert was waiting at the top of the ramp. She was not giggling. "Harry," she called out, "no headstands." There's Harry trying to do a headstand. He has a lot of energy, doesn't he? Harry did a somersault instead. "Harry Spooger," our teacher snapped. "You need a mat for that." "You'll break your back," Mary added. "Just warming up for Field Day tomorrow," he said, racing in place. Mrs. Flaubert folded her arms and waited for Mr. Deltoid. Finally, he showed up. 4 minutes late. There was a chocolatey smudge near the corner of his lip and a coffee stain on his gray sweatshirt. There he is. He's kind of a mess for a gym teacher, isn't he? Sneaking cookies. Mary and I put 2 thumbs up. Our teacher gave the gym teacher a quick nod and then took off. "Hey, boys and girls," Mr. Deltoid exclaimed as he jogged down the ramp. "I've got the biggest news for you." We all listened up. Tomorrow, as you know, is South School's Field Day. Mr. Deltoid danced over to the gym supply closet and opened the door. This year, each class will have 2 field day winners. These lucky winners get to open up this, and then he disappeared into the supply closet. No one moved, not even Harry. Ta-da, he said, popping out of that little room. There he is, with the big box. He was holding up a big brown box. There was nothing on it except for a long piece of masking tape that went over the top. We had no clue what was inside. When Mr. Deltoid dropped the box, it landed with a thud on the gym floor. "This is packed with field day prizes," he said. Lots of us cheered, but Harry was the loudest. Our gym teacher continued. "First place in any event wins 3 points. Second place earns 2, and third place 1. Anyone who displays bad sportsmanship will lose a point, so remember that when you think of firing a beanbag at someone." After we laughed, Mr. Deltoid added, "The partner team with the highest score will get to choose room 3B's gift out of this box." Then he tapped it like a drum. They don't even know what's inside yet, do they? "Can we pick our partners now?" Zuzu asked. I immediately looked over at Harry. I wanted to be his partner. He was pointing at me and flashing his white teeth. "Yes," the gym teacher answered, "but we'll do it by drawing names out of a jar. It's good to mix things up. There's always a little luck in every sports event, and it's good to work with different people." Harry immediately made prayer hands. It would take a miracle. Our class had 20 kids, which meant the odds were against us. I made prayer hands, too. They're hoping they get picked. That's Harry, and this is Doug. He's the one who's telling the story. And the next chapter is called Pickle Jar Picks, and we get to find out who's partners. While we took 4 laps around the gym, Mr. Deltoid quickly cut up our class list. It had our names on it in large, bold print. He scooped up the strips of paper and dropped them into his big plastic jar. It had a picture of a green dill pickle on the front. Harry finished his laps first, easily. Dexter and I tied for second. Zuzu, Song Lee, Sid, and Ida weren't far behind us. Mary was last, as usual. As soon as she rounded that 4th lap, Mr. Deltoid called us over. "Okay, guys, let's get started. If I call your name, come up and pick your partner out of the pickle jar. That's fair and square." Not fair, I thought. Harry and I haven't been partners all year. Last time I got Bossy Mary for a bug partner. Our gym teacher picked the first name out of the jar. "Sydney," he called. Sid hurried over. "I like being first," he said, a little out of breath. He swished his hand inside the big pickle jar and pulled out a name. "Ida," he yelled. There he is, picking his name out of the pickle jar. Ida skipped over to Sid and slapped him 5. Those two played jump rope a lot together at recess. Mr. Deltoid pointed to a bin of white t-shirts. "The PTA has donated these for tomorrow's field day, so take one and go over to the side tables. There are special magic markers there, along with scratch paper, pens, and rulers. Come up with a good name for your team and get busy designing your t-shirts." That's pretty fun, isn't it? Mr. Deltoid picked again. "Zuzu!" Zuzu ran over and pulled a paper strip from the pickle jar. "Dexter!" he cheered. Dexter pretended to strum a guitar like Elvis. "Dude," he sang out, "I'm all shook up." They were going to be a tough combo to beat. Harry moved his prayer hands up to his lips. "Song Lee," the teacher hollered. Song Lee hurried over and reached into the jar. "Mary," she said with a big smile. Both girls joined hands and skipped away. When it was Harry's turn, he flew up to the pickle jar with outstretched arms, then yanked out a paper strip. He had the wrong side, so he turned it over. Oh, I'm in suspense. After staring at it for a long moment, he screamed, "Duggo!" Everyone laughed. Harry is the only one who calls me that. I couldn't believe it. It was a miracle. Harry and I leaped in the air. "I'm so psyched," I said. "This never happens." "I know," Harry said as we walked over to the t-shirt bin. I had to do something about it. I immediately stopped in my tracks. "What do you mean, Harry?" He smiled ear to ear. I got lucky. There he is, showing him his paper. How? I said. Harry showed me his strip of paper. Both sides were blank. My eyes bulged. When I heard my name being called again, I slowly turned around. There were just a few other kids left. So you see what happened. Harry pulled a blank slip of paper out of the jar, and he said it had Doug's name on it. Harry must have dropped Doug's name back into the jar, the teacher guessed. Let's pick a different name. Whoa, I was so relieved. Come on, Duggo, Harry said. We need a name for our team. We grabbed our teas and found a place at one of the 2 long art tables. For the next 45 minutes, we all designed our t-shirts at the tables in the gym. Harry came up with a name for our team, the Speedy Spiders. Look at their shirts. One shirt has spiders and the other has a web. That's pretty creative. Actually, spiders gave me the willies, but Harry loves creepy creatures. He even had a pet spider once, Charles. Their webs are awesome though, so I agreed and started making one with a ruler. 20 minutes later, I checked out the competition. Song Lee and Mary made t-shirts with flying birds. Their rainbow wings were really cool. Zuzu and Dexter were the rockin' dudes. They drew 2 guys with Elvis hairdos dashing to the finish line. There's the rockin' dudes t-shirts. Sydney and Ida were the star jumpers. They had bright orange and yellow stars outlined in black all over their shirts. If I stood up, I could see more at the far table. The best team name there was, the Dashing Doorknobs. Harry leaned over and whispered, We're going to win tomorrow, Duggo. I hope so, I replied. Just no more fast ones, Harry. We were lucky not to get in trouble. I had no idea then that Harry's pickle jar trick was about to backfire. And there's the Dashing Doorknobs. That's kind of a silly team name, isn't it? Let's do one more chapter because I would like to know how his trick backfired. And this next chapter is called The Backfire. What's in this picture? Some cleanup spray, fabric markers, and sponges. As soon as the clock turned 11, Mrs. Flaubert appeared on the ramp. She was smiling again. Line up, kids, Mr. Deltoid roared. Harry and Doug, stay put. His hand was resting on Harry's shoulder. We need to talk, he said softly. Uh-oh, I thought. Mr. Deltoid had a quick word with our teacher before she left. Then he joined our table. So, do you boys want to tell me anything? He asked. I said nothing. I couldn't tattle on my buddy. I can't wait for tomorrow, Mr. Deltoid, Harry said with a jack-o'-lantern grin. Mr. Deltoid lowered his eyebrows. Nothing about the partner drawing? Harry looked into Mr. Deltoid's dark, probing eyes. He was cornered. Very slowly, he reached into his pocket and pulled out his blank strip of paper. It was like getting a chance card in Monopoly, Harry confessed. There wasn't a name on it, so I read it as Doug. We haven't been partners all year, not even once. So you thought it was pick your own partner card? Yes, Mr. Deltoid, Harry said. Sorry. I'm sorry too, I blurted out. Well, the partners came out even, and apparently I did include one blank, but you should have acknowledged it instead of trying to sneak it by me. Harry nodded. You're right, I won't do it again. Mr. Deltoid got up. Okay, he said, tapping the table. We'll leave it as it is. The t-shirts are already designed, but there is a consequence. You two are cleaning up this mess. Sponges and spray bottles are in the closet. I want every streak off these tables and everything put away. Absolutely, Harry replied, standing up like a soldier and saluting him. We're on it, right, Doug? Right, I agreed, then immediately picked up a green marker off the floor and dropped it in the tin can. And there they are, cleaning up. They got off pretty easy, didn't they? And they still get to be partners. When I return, Mr. Deltoid added as he walked up a ramp, I expect to find your work done and done well. I knew where he was going. To the cafeteria, which was on the same basement floor as the gym. He wanted another warm cookie. It didn't take us long to gather up all the magic markers and get them back in the tins. Harry rubbed and scrubbed the colorful streaks off one table, and I wiped down the other. "No more marks," I said proudly. "Great, I'll put the markers away," Harry said, as he carried the tins into the open supply closet. When he didn't come out right away, I started to wonder what he was doing in there. After a minute or so, I decided to check on him. "What's taking you so—" My eyes felt like they had popped out of my sockets. "Harry, what are you doing?" Do you have a guess at what he's doing? We're going to stop reading now because it's been 15 minutes already. But I will tell you the next chapter is called Sneak and Peek. I bet you Harry took a peek into the prize box. It was very fun sharing with you the first part of this book, Horrible Harry and the Field Day Revenge. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember, third graders, you got this book in your box so you can read it yourself. Bye. Have a great day.